They started very well, but then after that, everything's just not quite clicking. It just doesn't. It's not clicking. Not ruthless enough.
But why though? Why
I don't-
why is it not clicking? Like
I don't think that they're holding each other to account enough.
I was gutted that City got beat. I'm not gonna lie. I just don't think this will derail the team. Okay, yeah, you want to be in a cup final. Yeah, you want to be within a chance. But I think for me, if they can hopefully wrap up this league title, it would mean more.
I would like to see United win something this season because I think, again, for their progression, it would be massive.
I don't know if I can say the same, but
I think that them getting to the finals of the League Cup and trying to win that is major progression for them. You could just see with the league itself, like with those players you've mentioned, next season you could see that Skinner, they're going to probably be going to come in hard.
I don't know. I think maybe like when you're speaking about trophies in terms of like how high you hold them, I think League Cup is provided so many amazing matches first and foremost, but also it's been the making of some players and some teams. Hi everyone, welcome back to Crossways. I'm Steph Houghton and I'm with the legend, Ian Wright.
Watch it, Steph Houghton, you're the legend. How you doing?
I'm good, are you?
I wasn't well the other day, but I'm a lot better now. I was meant to do the Arsenal game against Forest. I couldn't do it because I wasn't well, and I watched it at home, and I thought, that probably would have made me even worse if I.
Did you have a feeling it was going to be bad?
Yeah, I'm just, something. I just feel like I'm in that place where Arsenal fans are at the moment. We need to see something so as we can feel a little bit more confident about what we're trying to do, but then we can't seem to get these teams rolled. Or we can't get past these teams, and. It's great against Inter Milan, but like at the same time, that's just where Arsenal fans are at the moment. And then, obviously, I'm trying to go to the women's to get a little bit of solace, and you're kind of not getting. I'm not getting anything at the moment, so I'm having to dig in to my fandom and say hope and faith is what you need now. Hope and faith. I think I might support Sunderland on the side to give me the love and the boost. Granit Xhaka and the lads, Brobby.
Oh, Brobby, honestly, I love him. What a finish, by the way.
I know. It's such a good finish. So pleased for him. Pleased for Sunderland.
Yeah.
They're giving joy at the minute.
I think, obviously, you don't really have that much expectations going at the Premier League, but they've far exceeded every expectation anyone had. And they keep going as well, which is a bit mad. It was weird because, obviously, they had a few draws and a loss, and they were, like, over December, a little bit of January. So it felt like against Palace, it needed to be, like, a must-win game. And they actually did, so that was the main thing.
What I do love about Sunderland is that you're getting the same intensity in every game, no matter what's going on. So that's something that as a fan you can like put your marker on. Whatever happens, this team's going to be trying to get something done, and there's excitement and jeopardy on it. So good luck to Sunderland, but the League Cup.
It wasn't a good night for our teams, was it?
No. I thought it was terrible night, especially. Terrible night when you consider the season that we're having, coming off of the Champions League. I know people say, it's going on about the Champions League, but you have to, because you're thinking that everybody would have been a little bit more buzzed up about trying to do well this season to try and add the WSL to the Champions League. But like looking at Arsenal this season and the way they've played, it's never going to happen. And that was another game against United, and I'm not going to take anything away from United. They're the away team. They come to Arsenal. I don't think they're under any pressure to have to come out and play us off the park and anything like that. It's up to Arsenal to actually, beat them. And I think they started well enough.
Yeah.
They started well enough. For the first 30 seconds, Olivia Smith running down the right-hand side there. It was a good cross. I thought Caitlin Ford's header was very first-minute kind of header.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's like, okay, well, there's plenty more time to go. That header was like, it had no conviction. And that's
not
what
against
I'm seeing.
United, is it really?
No. That's how I feel about Arsenal at the minute. There's the conviction at the minute.
Like, obviously, I couldn't watch I had to watch the highlights because I couldn't watch the game because I was working. But, like, you look at, like, in terms of the stats and Arsenal, like, majority of possession, I think you probably expect that when you're at home at Boreham Wood. And United, we know how defensively solid they can be at times. Maybe they've showed a bit of fragility this season because of Champions League, the run of games, the squad that they've had. But I think a clean sheet at Boreham Wood is really, really good for United in the terms of they're building a squad that we've been kind of going on about for the last maybe 18 months to to provide competition. And of course, Arsenal made a few changes. Pullover in midfield. You've got your captain on the bench. The likes of Mead on the bench, and I still think you've created enough chances. I think in terms of, I think probably conviction is the thing. I think it is just that final little bit. But the goal was horrific.
Oh my gosh. You know, the thing is, just quickly on the conviction side of it and the intensity, and it's what I'm saying, like I mentioned about Sunderland, is that there's a certain amount of intensity and especially when you're at home that I believe you have to give, because the Arsenal fans are always brilliant there. They're always behind them. And I feel that when you look at just the build-up play, even if you're playing out from the back with Steph Catley, she could come out and then the pass might be wrong or someone's not made the right run. It's just not. It's just not linking up. You know, you got someone like Olivia Smith who looks quite dynamic on her own, but then again it comes back down to the final pass. And maybe if Caitlin Ford does score that in the first 30 seconds, you know, that then changes the whole texture, the whole game in respects of how we're going to attack it, because they started very well, but then after that, everything's just not quite clicking. You know, it's not clicking, not ruthless
But
enough.
why though? Why
I don't.
is it not clicking? Like
I can I be honest? I think that
Go on.
I don't think that they're holding each other to account enough. There's too many things that got, like the pass might go astray and someone put their hand up and say, yeah, sorry, good pass, but I'm just really sorry I didn't get that. Oh, well done. Oh, good cross. No, it wasn't a good cross. You know what I mean? They've got to hold themselves to account more in what they're doing. You know what I mean? I'm not saying I want to see people on the pitch arguing and shouting at each other, but they've got to, especially when you've got that much quality on the bench. The players who are coming in have to do more. You know, and I don't know if that's Renee. You know, obviously Renee's got a contract and I'm delighted for her, but the way it's gone this season, it's not been good enough for me from the manager in respects of what she wants to get out of this team, in respects of them challenging each other to be in that team. I'm not
Yeah.
seeing it. And we're way off of it now. Way off of it.
I think that's where, like, I think that game was super important for Arsenal, because if you look at the league table, 10 points behind, it's not been the
Yeah.
greatest of seasons in terms of, yeah, you're sitting in that third position, but like this is a season that Arsenal and their players and the club, they want to win the league and they want to
Yeah.
win all the trophies. So I think that was why I feel like we can speak about the League Cup going forward in the next few minutes, but that's why I feel as though like this was a massive game, and in these big games, and we've made a big point of that, is that Arsenal just don't seem to deliver, which another big game coming up this weekend against
Yeah.
Chelsea at
Chelsea.
Stamford Bridge. So I think it is a bit not worrying, but it is a bit, I don't know, a bit disappointing, I think, in terms of the players that Arsenal have, because they have some superstars, obviously, but
Yes.
Ian, I have to give credit to United. I think
Without a doubt.
they are building something. Like, you look at their bench, you got the likes of Mallard, Schuler, Lundqvist. These are players that will probably start over the next few games, but they've been able to rotate and still get into the final for the first time of the Subway League Cup.
You know something I was going to say? Remember at the start of the season I was saying about the way Man United, and that's what I'm saying. Man United ain't got to come to Boreham Wood and try and play us off the park. They come here to win. And they done it in the end, obviously with a terrible mistake from the goalkeeper. Maybe I might speak about that. But I think that when you look at United, how the season's been, what we've been saying about them, can they make signings in the summer? Can they progress again? And I think that them getting to the finals of the League Cup and trying to win that is major progression for them. You know, you could just see with the league itself, like with those players you've mentioned, next season you could see that Skinner, they're going to probably be going to come in hard. They're really going to be coming hard for it, because I think coming off of this season with the progress, the Champions League, getting to this final, this is all good stepping stones for United. If they could go on and win it and then go into the season really going for it, like, because the way they've played this season, they have been very impressive. I'm quite pleased for them, and I think that it's massive progression for them. Real good progression for them.
What do you think about the Olivia Smith 2 yellows?
She deserved to be sent off. I think that what you see with Olivia, who I'm still absolutely delighted we've got her for the £1 million, and we've seen her in moments, even at the start of that game with that blasting run she done down the right-hand side. And she done it all game, but she was getting very frustrated.
That was what I was going to ask you. Like, as a forward, like,
yeah,
obviously, say as a defender, you start to have like these little battles and you try
Yes.
and kind of flip it so they get
Yeah.
frustrated. And the first tackle, I'm going to be honest, I don't know
Mm,
whether the ball does change direction. So whether
mm.
she got a toe to the ball, it was quite a yellow card, but then you certainly can't do the second
No,
one.
the second one, no. And again, because like the thing is, she was being like roughed up by whoever was in her vicinity. And the challenge, what she made in the end, was what I think not long before that, she got a really tough challenge on her.
Hmm.
And I think that challenge was in retaliation to that. She didn't need to make it. She could have slowed down just before she got there. And that's why I think she walked off like she did. She could try and say, "What, you're sending me?" Yes, you are sending you off because your frustration and everything that's gone on with the way the game's gone for you, it's not quite worked out for you. It's been a nearly game for you. It could have been a brilliant game for you. But then because you've been curtailed in certain aspects of the game and what you've done, and people have not finished things off, your ball's been pretty poor with your final ball. And in the end, that kind of summed up her game, her getting sent off for that second card. And, she deserved to go off. I believe with Olivia, like with the rawness of her and what she's got, Steph, is she now needs to be pulled aside and put in situations where her pace is going to get her into. So, right, Olivia, you're so quick, you're going to get into this kind of area a lot, right?
Hmm.
I tell you, I go back to, who can I say? It's someone like Mark Overmars, right? When I played
Yeah.
against him. I've never seen pace like it. And he said when he was at Ajax, when he was younger, all they did with him, because they knew how quick he was, he's gonna leave people behind, was got him into the last third of the pitch and then starting to make his choices of the passes, the crosses. Am I gonna go inside and shoot? But just his final delivery, he said that's what he worked on for literally for 3-4 years of his career. And then obviously we've seen the Mark Overmars that we now know. That's why I think that Olivia Smith is now. Otherwise, what's going to happen is we're going to see a lot more games where she gets this frustrated. She's going to be just on the cusp of doing great stuff. It's not quite working out. Then she's going to be under pressure for her final ball. Then she's going to get nervous. And then we're going to see her maybe kind of like retract back into herself and lose confidence. And that cannot happen. That's
Yeah.
on the coaching team to make sure that, right, this is what we've got. This is what we've got to work with. That's all what's left for her now. And obviously, once she gets into those kind of situations where her final ball is getting better, she is getting the ball and she is taking shots, she's making the right decisions, then that kind of frustration won't enter her game.
Yeah, and I think she's at this point in her career where she is young, she's still learning. This is probably the first time it's happened to her, but I think now there is pressure on her. And I think as a opposing team, you would be looking at players like Olivia Smith going, how do we stop her?
Yeah.
Like, what do we do? Is it about roughing her up? Is it about not giving her the space? And
Mm,
I think you're right in terms of that is her next stage of development in the sense of because she is so quick, it's so
mm,
hard to deliver
yeah.
at that pace and pick people out. So as you said about Overmars, yeah, I think it is. But look, I think it was just a generally frustrating night for Arsenal. I think in terms of where they are in the season, the results,
Mm,
of course, they beat Villa at the weekend in the FA Cup which was quite convincing.
yeah.
But previously, the United at home at the Emirates, you should
Yeah.
be
Poor.
taking points off them
Yeah.
again. And it's
Yeah.
just, yeah, I think you guys always telling me about how it should be and what it should be like. And obviously, being there previously, there's an expectation to win and to perform and
Yeah.
to do the right thing. And it's just like what you said before. It's like it doesn't seem to be connecting altogether.
No, it's not. Can I just say, just quickly on the goal before we move on to City, is that that's easily one of the most frustrating things I've watched um, for the last couple of weeks in respects of a mistake and this playing out. Because in respects of our goalkeeper, Aneka Boba, third choice. I get it. I totally get it. In the League Cup, but you can't tell me that she's not got aspirations to hopefully be the second choice. And then when she gets to the second choice, push to be like the first choice.
Hmm.
The mistake that she made was so elementary. People say, yeah, but she's the third choice. We've got to give her. No, because in that instant, that is basic. The ball's coming back to her. She's got, I think it's Mariana coming towards her, Mariana Caldetti coming towards her with two players on her,
Yeah,
Steph.
that's the thing that I noticed. It's not just the one because
Yeah,
actually you could probably like get your body in between the ball and the player and kind
yeah,
of fight off. But
with two
Ian,
players, Steph.
the timing of it, it
Oh,
was
God.
just before half time.
Oh, it was so, and you know what I think to myself? That is somebody who is so drilled in playing out, right, from whatever they're doing at training, so drilled that she cannot even see that this ball has got to go.
For me, experiencing that, Wrighty, because that was a very big thing for us at City, was playing out from the back, especially from a goal kick, and the
Yeah.
amount of practice that we did on that. And I was thinking, how many goal kicks do we actually get in a game? Probably, if you look at if you're thinking maybe 4 or 5 potentially.
Right.
The way that we play, we don't really give that many goal kicks away, or
Mm.
they don't really have that many attacks. So I'm like, why are we focusing on that? And actually, the keepers, they started second guessing,
Yeah.
and the actual like
Right.
instinct is taken away from you, and you could see that in that clip.
Yes.
I think
Yes.
probably 9 times out of 10 she's thinking, I need to go along here because there's bodies running towards me, and I can imagine what that feels like. But I think what you're saying in terms of the way that the girls are coached, and generally you see it all over the WSL. Everton are quite a big team at doing it this season, is playing out from the back. They did it against City at the Joy Stadium, and oh my god, I'm just like, you've got Bunny Shaw running at you.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make any sense.
What are you
They
doing?
didn't progress anywhere.
No.
It kept
You
on
know?
coming back. So I think for me, obviously, as a young keeper and someone that's trying to kind of stamp their mark on the game and fight for a shirt,
Yeah.
I think it obviously doesn't look great. But I
No.
understand that feeling of why that it's so indecisive, and players sometimes are not allowed to make their own decisions in their moments because of the kind of
Yeah. What's
what
being
the
drilled
manager's
into
going to
them?
be saying. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
But again, I'm gonna give Man United credit because like now, if I'm gonna be totally honest, I wouldn't mind seeing Man United going on and win it because I love the progress they've made. But for Arsenal, we need to get out of this daydreaming through this season because like things may happen in the summer and then everybody's waiting for something to click. So hopefully, you know what I mean, they can finish the season well. Like we mentioned, like if they do well in the playoffs, then they might get Chelsea. Obviously, got Chelsea tomorrow. So you know what I mean. Hopefully, there's a marker laid down. But I'd love to see um, a high intensity finish to the season. That's what
Yeah,
I'd like to see now.
definitely. But I was gutted that City got beat. I'm not going to
Well,
lie.
I was watching it.
And you know what? They actually deserve to win in terms of the chances that they
Yep,
created.
yep,
I think normally that's probably the other way around. Like Chelsea creating a lot of chances, just not probably being that clinical. And in City have been clinical all season. Like you look like Sir Bunny Shaw, you've got Medema. Like it's just, I don't know. I just don't know why it didn't happen. But I think for me, I think obviously Chelsea just do what Chelsea do. They find
yeah,
a way, and
yeah,
once again, I'm disappointed with the goal that we conceded because I think there's so many errors that are leading to that. And I think for one, to stop the cross, Yui has to do a
yeah,
little bit better. And
yeah.
obviously, she's probably not expecting Baltimore to cross it with her right foot. And I
No,
get it because you probably want to force her onto that because
onto
she's
the
so
left
left
side.
footed. But then once the ball gets into the box, I think we're so deep defensively from the corner, we need to get out. And for me, the keeper is, I think she has to come and claim that, if I'm being
Yeah, I think
honest.
so too. I
Do you
think
think
so
that as
too.
well?
Absolutely, yeah, without a doubt. Because in that, especially like you said there, they are deep, but she's just got to just like command that box. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She's just got to do that. The thing with Chelsea, what I do like about Chelsea and what Chelsea will always do is if you do not, and like you say, I think City's only lost 2 games and it's to Chelsea. You know, they've got something over them. They've obviously got something over them. But if City could have taken some of those chances, I think that could have been a massive boost
Yeah.
to finish, especially to finish off the season. I'm thinking maybe it's because it's the League Cup, they may have eased off, but I don't think they did because they made so many chances. You could see how upset Viv Miedema was because she's got that kind of body language at the best of times when you consider that she's
Yeah.
making some good moves, passing the balls into, I think it was to Casper on the right hand side, and she is a poor cross across the box, or she missed the target completely. And you can see how frustrated she is. She's never going to change as she is. That's what I like about the way Viv plays. But I'm thinking, do you think it's because it's the League Cup? Are they really bothered? They look bothered on the day, but are they bothered that one is the one what they've lost? And I would be bothered because, again, it's an opportunity to beat Chelsea to show them that we're getting ready to take over the mantle. I
Yeah.
think that's what they missed out more than anything here. They've lost 2 games this season, and they're both to Chelsea, and that will be hanging over them. They've got to get rid of that. That's a hoodoo over them.
Yeah, I think when I look at it from like that City perspective, like I think in terms of performances and creating chance, I think if they were to play Chelsea tomorrow, and create the same. It's a different game.
Yeah.
It's a different game, and I
Yeah.
think for me that was a promising sign that we have the players to be able to actually go at this Chelsea squad. And we were missing Carolyn, and I think Carolyn would have added a little bit of a different dynamic because of her pace. So you obviously
Yeah.
got Grace Clinton coming in, bit more of a ball player, whereas Carolyn likes to run behind. Would that have
Yeah.
caused Chelsea a few more problems? I thought
Without a doubt.
Lauren Hemp was outstanding. I think in terms of that was probably one of her best performances this season. And I think the worrying thing is if Bunny isn't firing, who is that person that's going to take the
Yeah.
mantle? And I really do think that could potentially be Mary Fowler when she's fit, and whether she's going to be back fit for that Chelsea game at home in a week or 10 days' time. I think that is going to be
It's
a
a big
huge
one for her
thing.
to come. Yeah, it's a big one for her to come in for. How long's she been out now, though, Steph?
God,
It's a long time. It's a massive game.
she did it in
to
Man
come back
United
for.
in the FA Cup, didn't
Yeah.
she? I think so.
But
God,
like
it must
it's-
be 8-9 months, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, like you have to give Chelsea credit because again, they will punish you if you do not finish them off, because that's what they do. You know, what's this the seventh final on the spin. Their consistency is amazing, and what we're seeing, especially even with Millie, with Germa beside her, even though Germa now you're starting to see her, she seems to be. She's getting into the flow of it now. You could see
Yeah.
that she's, you know, with someone like Germa next to her, of course, she's going to be a little bit more safe. But I do believe, and I'm hoping, you know, with our game against Chelsea tomorrow, that Stina plays and we can get the ball through the midfield quick to see if we could get Stina going up against maybe Millie. Obviously, Germa will try and cover her, but the more we can get that going, the better. Because as great as Millie is, you know what I mean? Millie's always, even in her prime, you've got to try and isolate her.
Yeah.
You know, you've got to try and isolate her. And that's what I'm hoping we can do tomorrow. But her experience is invaluable to Chelsea. Alicia Thompson, again, I'm loving her.
Did you see that they put Thompson and Kerr together? So in terms of the formation, they played obviously a bit of a 3-5-2 because when City were attacking, it started to come into a back five. But I actually thought it was quite clever that they played Thompson and Kerr, even though they probably didn't do what we would expect them to do, like more regularly and more consistent. But I think their two pace and kind of cleverness working together could be a problem for Arsenal at the weekend.
Without a doubt, because especially whatever you say with Sam Kerr, people are saying like she seems to like she's lost a little, maybe half a yard or something. Maybe she's not completely up to speed. What's going on? But like for me, with Alicia Thompson with her, if she could keep herself in and around the box, there's no the ball will get there.
And she knows where the ball is.
Exactly. And she just does what Sam Kerr does. So again, massive danger, them two. I like the thought of them two, because if I'm playing against that Chelsea side and them two up front, I'm probably going to be a bit wary of them. I'm going to be wary of them. So congratulations to Chelsea. Congratulations to United for getting there. But I got to say, I would like to see United win something this season, because I think, again, for their progression, it would be massive.
I don't know if I can say the same, but last thing on City, I just don't think this will derail the team. No, I really don't. I think
it shouldn't as well.
And I think, okay, yeah, you want to be in a cup final, yeah, you want to be within a chance, but I think for me, if they can hopefully wrap up this league title, it would mean more. So, looking forward to when they do play Chelsea and obviously Arsenal in the same week. That is going to be a huge week. But
massive week for
I think performances is there. It's not a dip in performance. It's just there, and we weren't able to convert. But talking of the League Cup, Ian.
Yes, I was going to say to you about the reformatting of it.
So Tom Gary on X put out this: next season's Women's League Cup will not feature any Champions League teams. A WSL spokesperson has confirmed there'll be a Swiss-style league phase model, 6 matches per team, and then a knockout phase. The format now awaits FA board ratification.
Right.
Thoughts?
So that means none of the so who are we talking? Chelsea, Arsenal, Man City, and Man United.
So if you look at the league table today, it would be City, Chelsea, Arsenal wouldn't be part of this League Cups. That leaves Spurs, United, who are in and around them Champions League phases being.
But you know the thing is, I don't mind them trying it out to see how it kind of like progresses with those other teams, because let's face it, the winners of this is it Chelsea, City, Chelsea, Arsenal, City.
Yeah.
I think it's a good thing for the Villas, for the Spurs of this world to try and get into a final and win a final, even though people say, yeah, well, you haven't got the best teams in it, so it doesn't make any difference. It's about winning something. And I think it's not a bad idea to try it, even though it does feel a little bit second rate, if I'm for want of a better word.
Yeah.
It does feel like that. But I just feel that all the teams outside those top four, especially with Man United's emergence, there's nothing for them. There's nothing for them.
No, I understand from the other team's perspective. I think it is important that we kind of, for one, more games for the girls because the squads are getting bigger, and the only time that teams really do rotate is in them League Cup formats, which is absolutely fine. But I don't know, maybe because I won the League Cup quite a lot. I know how much that meant
It
to me
means
as
to
a
win.
player,
Yeah.
and to win a trophy, and it's really really hard to win a trophy and to consistently do that. And I don't know. I think maybe like when you're speaking about trophies in terms of like how high you hold them, I think League Cup is provided so many amazing matches first and foremost, but
Yeah.
also it's been the making of some players and some
Yeah.
teams. So I'm a little bit undecided because I think these squads are now getting bigger. So if you're taking X amount of games from squads, which are them top 3, 4 teams, then you've still got players that are not playing enough football. So
Yes.
like
It's gonna.
like
Yeah.
Pullover, say for Arsenal,
Yes. Yeah.
she's probably only played in the League Cup, and I know she's played a few league games, but realistically, like you would only play in them cup
In the
games.
League Cup
But
games, yeah,
it will be interesting to see because
they've got to try stuff, Steph. They have to try to
yeah,
get the other teams to have something to fight for. I
I think we
quite
need a little
like
bit
it.
more detail, don't we? Really about
Maybe
how
we
it's
do.
going to
Yeah, we
look.
do. Yeah, because like again, whoever qualifies the top three, the fourth team out of them is probably going to. I think that's probably still win it.
Is it going to be like a kind of similar format to like say men's Champions League where it's just one big table?
It probably is. They've probably taken
Which
it off of that model,
which is
Steph.
exciting because say the men's Champions League next week say there's 6 teams that are on the same amount of points and you don't actually know who's going to qualify until that very last game, and that's the idea, to make it that exciting. So
Well, if it works like that, then fingers crossed. But then again, if it works like that and it's exciting, and then you get one of the teams out of the four that get a team in the final and beat them 4-5 or something, then it's kind of like it's just kind of like defeats the object for me. You know something? I hope it can work, and I because I'd like to see other teams get to finals and just experience it. But then again, I feel nervous for them because if they get to the final, they could get beaten heavily, and that's I don't want, because then that kind of defeats the object.
I think we should maybe do a little bit more when we know a bit more. Do you think?
Yeah, but just as just like a speculative like argument, you know, that's how I feel about it. That's how I feel about it.
Okay, looking forward to this weekend. A big
Yes,
weekend for WSL.
I'm going. Yeah, I'm going to the Chelsea Arsenal game tomorrow.
I think that's obviously the standout game of the weekend.
There's,
Stamford Bridge.
there's to be honest, for the two teams, there's hardly anything on it apart from the fact that, like I mentioned earlier, that if Arsenal do get through their playoffs, which I kind of think that they will, even though they're not playing well enough for me to be majorly confident, but hopefully they will. But like, it's an opportunity to play Chelsea and put down a marker against Chelsea, because you might have to play them if you do get through the playoffs. It's a big game for Arsenal tomorrow.
I think it's even bigger for Chelsea, if I'm being honest. I think in terms of the league table, to get them 3 points against Arsenal before City play London City Lionesses the
Yeah.
day, it closes that gap for Chelsea, and it is going to be an interesting game because obviously both teams played Wednesday night. Arsenal, like we've said previously, probably underperformed this season, a bit more under pressure. Can they really kind of restore their pride playing against Chelsea? But for Chelsea, it's the first time they've ever been chasing.
Yes.
And trying to close that gap between City, and it's probably a new experience for them in terms of the club. For the last few years, they've always been the ones that have been at the top of the pack and leading the way, and they've been so good at that. So,
And they look like they're kind of finding a bit of form with what they're doing. You know, Lauren James is back. You know, Alicia Thompson looks sharp. You know, you got Sam Kerr is always dangerous. You know, Erin Cuthbert's the work rate she puts in. Arsenal need to be ready for that game, And Arsenal haven't won. Let me see. Arsenal have yet to win a big game this season.
Yeah.
This, you know what? With everything that's happened up to this point, this would be a good one for Arsenal to come in and put in a kind of like a. I know it's the biggest performance of their lives, a Barcelona performance where they really do. Everybody turns up. Everybody turns up. We finally take some of these chances. We're ruthless with the chances. You know, like we're dogged in the midfield because Chelsea will be that. So you have to be.
You need that in these big games, so Ian. I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
sometimes it gets a little bit more like so techie and tactical, where actually it's about the fight, it's about the want and who wants it more, and
Yes.
it's probably like a bit too old school. But I think sometimes in them games, that's what you need, and that's what you get through. It doesn't matter the performance; it's about the win at this moment in time, and I think Arsenal have got that in the locker potentially,
Yeah.
but it's whether they choose to use it in this game or not. But for me, I think there's pressure on both teams. This is why it's such a big game in terms of Chelsea, the league. Do I think Arsenal can kind of close that gap? Probably not, and that's not to be disrespectful, but 10 points is a lot of points.
It's a massive amount of points. And you've got someone like Sandy Baltimore's like found that form again.
Mm-hmm.
She's back being that player. She's just so dangerous. Germa seems to be getting her fitness up now. You know, they just again they'll start to do what they do because they know what it's like at this stage of the season. You know what I mean? Whether they're going to have a real blast and run for the league at this stage or whether they're just trying to, which I believe that they might be trying to, is get their minds right, get their players in the form at the right time for the Champions League push. And I think that if them come, Arsenal going to their place tomorrow and them beating us is something that I think that they'll be looking to do. Absolutely, they'll be looking to do because it just gives them the momentum to kick on again.
I love watching the game. Actually, think it'll be a good game.
Yeah, I think so too.
It'll be a bit feisty, so.
Yeah, I think so too.
I reckon maybe a red card, just a prediction.
You think a red? Oh, you've thrown a red card in.
I know. Sorry, guys. I'm not saying who for, but I'm just saying I think it can potentially turn into something like that because of what's at stake.
Well, you know what? I wouldn't mind if it was a rough and tumble game because I just want to see something from us. I want to see a reaction from us.
Yeah.
You know, I want to see a reaction from us. I want to see a reaction from the players. You know what I mean? Because like I say, with Renee, I just want to see a little bit more like, I don't know, like energy. Yes, that's what I want to see. And I want that transferred into the players because they don't seem to be playing with that at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, it's a perfect game. It's a perfect game for them to answer a few questions.
So, going on to your favourite part of the show, which is predictions time.
You know, I'm so good at predictions.
I
feel really good. I feel good this week about my predictions.
Come on then, you can start this one. So,
Brighton.
Tonight, Everton, Brighton.
You just don't know what to make of Everton.
I can't work them out.
I need to watch them again. I went to the Hill Dickinson earlier on in the season to see him, and it wasn't their best game, but like then you watch them. They turn it on and off.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go with. I think I'm gonna go with 2-1 to Brighton.
I'm gonna go 1-1.
You've just gone safe.
I have actually. Chelsea Arsenal.
You know what? This is a really big one for us. Like we've just said, if we could start like we start against United and take the chances, you know something. You have to fancy Chelsea at home, especially with the way we've played. But I'm gonna go 2-2.
Oh.
I'm gonna go 2-2.
That's not safe, but
I think you know what. That's me being generous to Arsenal. That's me being generous to Arsenal.
I think 2-0 Chelsea. Is Olivia Smith suspended for this one then? If she got sent off, she will be, won't she?
Yes, she's suspended. Yeah, so she's out. So Olivia Smith's out.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 2-0 Chelsea.
2-0 Chelsea. You know what? Okay, Sunday, Villa, Man United. Who's first? Me or you on this one?
I'll go. I think United will be too much for Villa.
I think so too.
I'm gonna go 3-1 United.
You're giving Villa a go. Yeah. I go 2-1 United. In fact, the way my Letizia and the guys are playing, I'm gonna go 2-0 to United.
Okay.
I'm going 2-0. Leicester West Ham.
That's a big game for West Ham. You know this.
It's massive for West Ham. I think West Ham are going to beat them. Has Alicia Lehman's just signed for Leicester?
Yeah, she's just signed, so whether she'll be involved, but back in the WSL was it from Como? Yeah.
Yes. I'm
Leicester
not
have
sure.
made some really good signings in terms of experience of the league.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to see that one. See how if she plays. But I'm gonna go with West Ham.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go West Ham to 3-1. I'm giving them 3 goals. West Ham.
I'm gonna go 1-0 Leicester.
Wow. See, I like goals.
Yeah, you do. That's why you're a striker.
That's
I'm
fine.
like all 1-0 wins. That's fine for me.
It's an interesting game. Liverpool-Tottenham.
Liverpool made a good signing in
Yeah.
Denise O'Sullivan.
Denise O'Sullivan,
that
yeah.
number 6 that I think obviously the whole game plan is revolved around that holding midfielder.
Yeah.
But I still fancy Spurs. I think Spurs have done so well this season. To be sitting in 4th on the same joint 3rd with the same points as Arsenal is a really good season.
Magnificent season, Tottenham.
Liverpool have to win, but I just can't see them winning.
No. Who are you going? I'm not going. I'm not going for a Liverpool win.
I'm going to go Spurs. I'm going to go 2-0 Spurs.
1-0 Spurs. I'm going to go.
And the last one,
London City Lionesses, Man City. I'm going to go City to beat them. 3-1. I'm going to go.
I hope so.
No, you know why I say that as well? Because of the way they played against Chelsea, how disappointed they were, but the chances they made. If they start with the same vein, then they're gonna blow London City away.
I'm gonna go 2-0 City, as in Man City, not London City.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Let's see what happens. I'm excited to watch the games this weekend.
Excited. You know, I'm actually looking forward to the Arsenal Chelsea game I'm going to tomorrow because I haven't been able to get to too many games this season, so I'm looking forward to going to that one. And I just want to see something.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to see something because what's left now? You know what I mean? We've got to go hard against Chelsea. We've got to get through. Hopefully we can get through the playoffs, play Chelsea again, beat Chelsea, and then find something in the Champions League in respects of salvaging. That's what I'm saying. Because it's been a massively disappointing season in the WSL for Arsenal, coming off of such a euphoric summer. So hopefully they can finish the season on a high, and then we'll see what happens in the summer.
I'm looking forward to the text updates from the group tomorrow at Stamford Bridge. That'll be good while I'm working. I'll be watching. I'll be keeping an eye on it also. But have a great weekend, Wrighty.
Nice one. Don't work too hard. Enjoy yourself.
I will do. I'll keep in touch anyway. But thanks everyone for listening.
Thanks a lot. We love you guys. Thanks a lot.